I can hear the Champions League anthem playing in the distance. I can see the promised land. West Ham are closing in on European football, and there is nothing Sepp Blatter and his corrupt arse can do about it. This is uncharted territory, but it feels so great. I'm smiling, I'm happy. Why should I be mad? West Ham have closed the gap on Leicester City and are making more and more progress to get into the top four. Let's enjoy this moment. Yeah, in case you couldn't tell, in case I didn't make it very clear, West Ham United have beaten Leicester City 3-2 at the London Stadium and go within 1 point of Leicester. It's a big win for West Ham in a game that had a lot of significance because a loss would have been very damaging to West Ham's European chances. A draw would have been satisfactory, but the win would have been what we wanted. A lot of people were quite confident of a win. I, myself included, did say that I was confident somewhat of it in my preview. And it's happened today. Jesse Lingard had a brace, Jarrod Bowen with the other. It's a good win for West Ham. I'm very thrilled about it, but I have to talk about one or two things that need to be worked on. Because as far as I'm concerned, West Ham don't like being 3-0 up for some reason and like to give fans scares. I mean, that was happening many seasons ago, but it's happened even more this season with a lot on the line. Anyway, let's get into this. Team lineups, of course, start this off. Interestingly enough, Leicester had a lot of absences from this game. Harvey Barnes was injured, as was James Justin, so I knew those two wouldn't be playing. James Maddison, Chalal Sayurci and Hamza Chowdhury were some of the names that were missing this game due to COVID-19 protocol. And a lot of Leicester fans on Twitter weren't happy about that. They were saying that they were giving up already, even before the ball was kicked. But those losses seem to be West Ham's gain a bit because Leicester wouldn't have a regular midfield and would have to start three at the back instead. Daniel Almaty coming in, and also other changes to the team with Castagna playing. As for West Ham, Mark Noble was making his 400th Premier League appearance, so big congratulations to him. And the most obvious change was that Jarrod Bowen was starting instead of Mikel Antonio because Antonio's tore his hamstring again. Kind of makes me upset inside saying that, really. But I trusted Bowen to go on his own up front, and he's got his spot back right now. I would say that it was quite even to start off the game. Kelechi and Nacho had two chances for Leicester, one on target, one off target. Nothing really from West Ham though. It was a lot of possession football and passing it around really from both teams. That opening 20 minutes wasn't too exciting, but nervy at the same time because Leicester had those two chances through Iheanacho. And he's just won Player of the Month and he's in fine scoring form right now. So he was a player that needed to be contained. Other than that, I think Leicester were working the ball a lot, although there was no real dangerous threat to contain just yet. When West Ham did take the lead on 29 minutes, it was a bit surprising, really. I think it surprised West Ham that a goal had been scored, and it surprised Leicester that they conceded. For me personally, I was like, ooh, goal for West Ham. And then I reacted and smiled. Don't get me wrong, I was happy West Ham scored. Jesse Lingard scored this one. Sofal puts a cross that goes over the box. Lingard's waiting on the edge of the area, and first time, weird curl on the ball, but it goes past Kasper Schmeichel. Schmeichel doesn't even move to try and get the ball. It's 1-0 to West Ham. Lingard just couldn't stop scoring for us right now, and should I say he can't stop scoring for us right now. 7th goal of the season with that finish. Weird goal, really, the way it went in. It was like a weird bounce on the curl as it was struck. But I don't really care. It was 1-0 to West Ham. Leicester started to pressure a little bit. When I say pressure, they went forward in numbers, trying to get the ball 2-to-1 ratio, I think it was, with 2 Leicester players to every 1 West Ham player in terms of their attacking. That's how it seemed. Leicester just wanted to pack it up and tighten up their whole gameplay to move the ball around. And the consequence of that was that West Ham could have a counter-attack when a corner was cleared. Sofal's got loads of space to run with this ball, and he sees Bowen or Lingard both on this side. I don't know why Sofal didn't take his shot and take the shot. He could have cut in and had a shot at Kasper Schmeichel, but no, he decides to pass it, and it doesn't end up coming to anything because the ball's ended up in Schmeichel's hands anyway. Really big chance for West Ham to score there, but, you know, I just wish that we'd taken that chance maybe a bit more, because it would have made things a bit more comfortable at that point, and of course I would have had a second goal. Sofo does that. He does those runs into the box and then messes it up at the last minute. He's got all that great work rate, and he's a quality player, don't get me wrong, but why he didn't shoot, I do not know. It was a golden chance for him to score. Okay, so West Ham couldn't make that count, but they did make the next big chance count for sure. And this is really good. It's really good work, although it is bad decision making from Schmeichel, but that's not the point. Jarrod Bowen's got a potential one-on-one here with Schmeichel. Schmeichel comes out way too early to try and kick it away. So that gives Bowen time to pass it across the goal. Lingard's there to tap it in. Lingard's got his brace, and that's now 8 goals this season for Jaylins. Is anything going to stop that man? Can anyone stop Lingard right now? He's just unplayable. And he's the difference maker in our team. His goals are taking West Ham into Europe, if I haven't already hinted that. Lingard has stepped up in the absence of other players, and he's added a whole new depth to that team. 2 goals today. Every single time he plays, I can see him getting a goal in every game now. That's how confident he is. And Bowen's confident too. Bowen got the assist on that. So there are players this season who have been changed a lot for the better. Bowen's one of them. He's a lot more confident. And Jesse Lingard's found his spark. The spark that David Moyes has helped to plant in Lingard. And it was 2-0 to West Ham. Anyway, so it's all looking good at this point. It started off as a very even first half, but West Ham got the advantage with those 2 goals. Brendan Rodgers would have been absolutely cheesed off with his players for that. Would have been really mad at how they let 2 goals in quite tamely. Leicester needed to do something, and in the second half, before it started, they brought on Luke Thomas and took off Amati. It's clear Leicester are missing all their big guns because they had no real strong option to call upon on the bench. Someone that could make that big difference, like Maddison or Perez. They didn't have that. West Ham were looking good for their lead, but as we know, West Ham have been complacent in the last few games when taking a lead. So if I were the manager, I would have just said, keep your heads level, don't go too defensive and just stick to what you're doing to get another goal. Very early on in the first half, West Ham made it 3-0. Masuaku does a lot of work here. You know how in the Wolves game he won the ball back and played it? He did it here. He won the ball back and played it nicely to Lingard. Lingard finds Souček. Souček unselfishly passes into Bowen. Bowen's at close range here. He just fires it past Schmeichel. Schmeichel doesn't really react to it. It's 3-0 to West Ham. Bowen's got his 8th goal of the season and has been on cracking form, really. But it's 3-0 to West Ham, and given how Leicester were playing, this was looking like the right scoreline, in all honesty. West Ham looking good for the lead, but as you know, we've been leading 3-0 in the last 3 games and have ended up blowing it. So I had that in the back of my mind. Are we going to absolutely, go to waste in this? But at the same time, 3-0 up is good. What was concerning was that Aaron Cresswell had to come off because of a suspected hamstring problem. And that'll be a shame if he's sidelined, because he's been quality this season for us. He's been one of our most improved players. And Cresswell had to come off in place for Fabian Balbuena, who replaced Cresswell. West Ham made it 4-0 when Issa Diop headed the ball in, but the VAR showed that he was offside, and I wasn't mad about that. It was the right call. I know Mike Dean was refereeing. If I didn't mention that, he was refereeing today, and we know what he's been like with West Ham in the past. Yeah, he's been shocking. But he made that VAR call and got it right. Diop was offside, so it stayed 3-0 to West Ham. All I seemed to get from Leicester was that they were intent on clearing the ball a lot. It was a very defensive mindset from Leicester. They just seemed to want to put the ball out for throw-ins every single time to stop West Ham attacks, because they were scared, so it seemed, of the ball coming into their box and West Ham scoring again. That all changed, though, when Kelechi Iheanacho scored. Iheanacho's been in good form as of late. And like I say, he had Player of the Month for March. and he's been really good for Leicester recently. He made it 3-1 with a decent effort. Craig Dawson's partly to blame for not closing it down enough, but 3-1 to Leicester, and at this point I was getting a bit nervous. It started giving me, again, the flashbacks of Arsenal and Wolves. I could just see it in my mind again. The stress and those emotions. West Ham, why'd you do this to me every single week? Why can't you just win comfortably and put my nerves at ease? I mean, okay, it's good for the entertainment factor, but my goodness, it isn't good for my head. West Ham started to look a bit panicky, in all honesty. Leicester started to look a bit more confident after that goal and got the ball in a few more times. Fabianski was coming out to get every single ball pretty much. Nearly gave away a penalty when it appeared that he fouled Ricardo Pereira, but it turned out that he got the ball. Bit of a nervy moment that as well, but that goal gave Leicester new confidence, like I say, and as you can imagine, they started to feel as though they had more of a chance to pull this back. Still a lot of time on the clock. As for West Ham, Ben Johnson came into the game and off came Mark Noble. Ben Rama came on for Bowen. Ben Rama's job would be to hold up that ball. He didn't really do that, unfortunately. He ended up giving it away, which wasn't good, and I think this was the incident that resulted in Leicester's second goal. It was deep into stoppage time. 6 minutes were on the board here. 6 minutes on the board, so it's going to be a long 6 minutes, and I didn't even want to watch it. Leicester pegged another one back. Iheanacho again, close range effort to finish it. 3-2 with very little time left. It was just going to be a case of just defend and keep the ball in the corner. But Benrahma giving it away there did not help. And this was going to be the longest 5 minutes, as it was any other time West Ham's been within one goal of throwing away the 2 points. Leicester put the ball into West Ham's box so many times in that stoppage time. It was getting cleared away every single time. And the last effort was Wesley Fofana heading off target. And that was it. Well, referee's whistle blew. Nervy ending to the game, but West Ham pick up 3 points and go to within 1 point of Leicester. West Ham go back up to 4th in the table, which is a good thing. I'm really happy with the result. Although my criticism is game management. West Ham need to work on game management, particularly in the second half. I'm not sure whether that's because of complacency. I'm not really sure whether it's overconfidence. But either way, it's something that needs to be addressed, because we don't seem to like going 3-0 up and just staying at 3-0. We like to concede a few goals. Well, I say like to, but we just end up conceding a few goals, I should say. Oh, it's stressful. But West Ham get the 3 points. They get the win. That's all I care about. Jesse Lingard was exceptional today, as was Jarrod Bowen. Sofal was great. Soucek was good. Noble outplayed Ndidi. Fabianski made some good decisions to come out and get balls. I think everybody did a really good job today for West Ham, and the whole team deserved the 3 points in the end. Thank you very much for watching this episode of The Aftermath. If you like the video, hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Got a couple of videos coming up next week. I'm going to do an over to you, of course off the press, and then all the previews for the Newcastle game and the aftermath for Newcastle too. Thank you very much for watching this. Take care, and I'll see you all soon.